Hi everybody, I'm Carl Leopson, your instructor for SERP 909 Master's Project. I'm really excited and humbled to be your instructor to lead you through the Master's Project for your program. Um, it's a big deal, and I know it's probably also a little anxiety producing, but what I want to do for you in this course overview is kind of walk you through how I've organized things to help you organize your project and move forward on a schedule and end up with a great project by the time we're done. I talk more about this in my introduction in the discussion section, um, but I have 40 years of experience in the field. And I have about 30 years of experience as both a doctoral student and a faculty member, which means I've had to produce projects on time and under pressure for a lot of my life. Um, so I will try to help you unload some of that pressure and anxiety by getting organized and working your way through it. Okay? So I want to walk you through the website really quickly and then through the syllabus. We could do that at our first meeting together, but this will save a lot of time. First of all, this is a really small group. Right? We'll only be about 6 people in this class, so we won't be meeting together as a group. I'll just be meeting with you individually at scheduled times during the semester. So we will schedule, you and I, each of us, um, individually to meet for 45 minutes 4 or 5 times during the semester to move things along. And I'll talk about what that first meeting is going to be like. In fact, you can see on the D2L page, there is a D2L site for this course. So do go there and log in. We'll use it to stay organized. Right? That's all we're going to use this D2L site for. There's some welcome info that I put up before I got the site together. Then there's a place there where you can schedule your first meeting. We ought to probably get that scheduled because I want to help you get started sooner rather than later. So this is the front page and the course home. Let's hop into the content section. And you can see over here on the table of contents, I have a section for, or a module for each of the meetings and the highlights along the way for the project. Things that we need to do to kind of stay updated and stay on track to get it done. There's no coursework to do in this course other than put your project together. Okay. So let's walk through the syllabus, which is up here under syllabus and table of contents. So this course is going to be designed to as an individual study for you to create a special project or formal report, and it's in lieu of a thesis, right? So some master's programs have a thesis. Ours does a master's project, right? And we can talk during your first meeting about what that project could be. It could be a variety of things. So this is me and my information. I'm Carl Leopson, and I am a faculty member at the U of A. Again, I've been there for 25 years. When I said 30 years of experience in that before, I'm kind of counting my doctoral program in terms of big project creation. I have an office there, but I tend to work more remotely. And so I'd like to do our meetings by Zoom, and we're going to have regularly, you and I will schedule meetings, But if you need to meet anytime in between, that's fine too. Or if we just want to talk on the phone, that's fine too. That's my home or personal cell number. You can text me if you want to, or we can set up some other kind of situation where we don't have to text each other and I don't have to have your phone number, okay? There are tech tools we can use for that. I'm happy to have you email me at any time if you have any questions. All right, the learning outcomes. The learning outcomes here, basically this is how your project will be graded, all right? It's graded on it being behavior analytical in nature, contributing to the field of applied behavior analysis in a scholarly or practical way. That means it could be a publication or it could be theoretical, but it could also be very practical, like a practical tool to use with clients. It could be a practical presentation for RBTs. We'll go into more depth later on the variety of things that this project could be. It needs to be a permanent product though, so I'll need to have something to grade. Like, you can't just tell me that you've done something and that'll cover it. I need to have something in my hand that I can grade for you. And then that it's a new project or product or a major derivation of a previous project. So handing in something from a previous course that you've had in this program isn't what this is designed for. This is the expectation is that you're creating something new here, just for this master's project. Now you could take something that you do already and that you already know and like update it and refine it, but we need some major derivation if it's an existing or previous project. There's no required text, no readings. I may provide you with some if you need some help with that. Clearly you'll need D2L capable browser and Word or Excel, depending on what it is you want to use. Those you can get for free as a student at the U of A. So the course format is independent study meetings. And as I've said multiple times, we will arrange individual meetings, you and I. And I'm going to try to roll out Calendly to set those meetings on Zoom. I used to use Doodle, but it got really expensive and it wasn't as clear-cut, I think, as Calendly. So I'm hoping this will work out better. But I'm just a set of 45-minute meetings across the semester is really all the class or meeting time that we should probably end up having. To be successful in this, like arrange your scheduled meetings early in the semester. Like I have a plan to get you through this, but if you wait too long, the plan won't work, right? So let's get scheduled early. Let's start talking early. Let's start hitting deadlines early. Have an initial project idea approved by me early in the semester. So I'll talk in just a minute about a timeline for that. Set goals for progress across the semester through a work plan developed with the instructor. So a work plan is one of the things that I want to develop with you across the semester. Just here are the things that have to happen for my project to get done, and here are the dates that I'm going to have them done by, and that's when I'll check in with Carl to make sure that those things are getting done, or to ask for help in getting them done. That you'll provide me with a draft of your final project. So you don't have to provide me with a draft of your final project. I think it'd be great if you did. I think it'd be really smart of you to meet the timeline for providing me with a draft so that I can give you feedback and you can adjust it. That's the way that you're going to get the best grade out of this class and complete your master's project. So the projects are graded on a pass-fail, actually. So it's actually S, P, and F are the only grades. Superior, pass, and fail. That's it. Incompletes, I would rather not have you submitted incomplete. I want to help us all avoid that because this is like that keeps you from getting your degree, and I want you to get it done. I want to help you get it done and finish up. There's a link here to other university syllabus policies. Okay, let's talk about the schedule. So I've designed this just to help get work done across the semester, okay, in a kind of an orderly fashion. And my suggestion is that we have our first meeting sometime in the first 2 weeks. Now, that time is ticking away, and I understand that most of you are joining with me a little late, probably in the second week of the class. But that's all right, because I've listed here approval of topic no later than September 26th. It'd be great if before the end of the month we could meet and talk and get approval of your final, of your project, what it is that you're going to do in general. Okay. Then, during the first couple weeks of October, schedule to have a second meeting where we talk about a work plan, like what would it look like for you to get your project done? What would be milestones that could help you get your project done on time? And then you could write those up for me and get them to me for approval by the end of October at least. Then you should be underway. Then you've got October, at least a little time in October. The sooner you do this, the better. And work all through November. And then we'll have a meeting sometime in November to talk about updates and feedback on your project. How's it going? Where are you stumped? What do you need help with moving forward? Any questions I can answer? Give you any encouragement to help you keep moving forward. And then if you can get me a draft by the end of November, by around November 21st, that'll give me time to give you feedback. Then we can meet during the final week of the course. And then projects are due on December 10th. And I can have some flexibility with that, but not a lot because I'll need some time to grade them. Okay? So this is kind of the schedule that I've set up to help you work through all of this master's project with me and for me to help you work through this master's project. On the last page is the rubric, and the rubric basically is aligned with the course requirements, right? That your project effectively communicates, that it demonstrates a knowledge of behavior analysis, that it's done professionally, and that it is that it contributes to the field of behavior analysis either in a theoretical or practical manner. So that's all of the syllabus. Now let's hop back to the content. Right, and so you can see again that over here in the table of contents, I've created a space. So there's space for us to do introductions, right? And under each one of these modules is really just a link to the discussion section. So let's take a look at the discussion section because that's where all of this really happens. So there's a place for introductions, a place to, after we have our first meeting, for you to summarize, here's what I thought about our first meeting, here's where I think we're going with initial project ideas. There's a section for you to post, hey, here's what my final approved project looks like. And all of these are here so that it's kind of in applied behavior analysis and in classroom management, actually. There's something called public posting. And it can be a great way to help clients move forward. And we're going to use that here, right? So if we're all responsible for posting our progress along the way, it'll help us make progress, right? And we can get feedback and encouragement from the people that we post in front of. So there's a place for you to post your a discussion, just to say, here's what my approved project generally looks like. There's a place for you to summarize what happened during our second meeting, which will be the meeting when we talk about your work plan. There's a place for you to actually post your work plan so that other people in the class can see it. There's a place for you to post about meeting 3, where we will talk about anything that's going on and any feedback that I have for you about your project so far, any questions you had for me. There's a place for you, this is will be for closer to the end of the semester, for you to post a draft of your project so that others can see it, give you feedback, or see what's going on and what you've done. Maybe other people's projects will help you craft yours. And then there's a place for you to post after meeting 4 about the final update, the draft feedback that I've given you, and what you plan to do with that feedback. A way to just kind of get it out there in the open. Here are my thoughts on responding to the feedback and how it's going to improve my project. And then here you can post your final project for the group to take a look at. However, I'll be asking you also to post pieces to assignments, just because when you post it to assignments, I can get in and open it and mark on it and provide you with all sorts of feedback through the tools that are in D2L that I can't do in the discussion area. So these aren't really, none of these are graded pieces except for the final project. These are all just up there to help organize, okay? And I'll be asking you to send me, the description of your project for approval. And then I can mark on it, approved, right? And you've got it right there in front of you, like this is what my instructor approved. There's a place where you can drop in a work plan that I can respond to, mark up, give you feedback on, help you get it really well organized. And then there's a place for you to drop in your draft project so that I can give you feedback on that. And there's a place for your final project, and that is the only one of these that's actually graded. So I will then grade your final project here with the rubric. And remember, it's S for superior, P for pass, F for fail. And that's the only 3 grades in this course. So, back to content. I hope that helps. I hope that helps you understand how I conceptualize this course and walking you through it and helping you through it. I hope to see you really soon at our first meeting and kind of get all of this rolling and underway, okay? So, first thing to do after you look through here is get that very first meeting scheduled with me, all right? And if none of the times that I list work out because you are on the East Coast or some other time frame, then Tucson is on, then just let me know. We can schedule at another time. I'm generally very flexible. All right? Take care, and I'll see you soon at our first meeting.